Welcome all you lab rats to This Game's Redemption, the series where I play the crappy games I grew up with, and I make videos about those crappy games to justify why I still keep them to this very day. For this experiment, I'll be taking a look at Mandark's Lab for the PlayStation 1. This game is atrocious. Mandark's Lab has the least amount of effort put into any PS1 game that I have ever seen, and it is incredibly painful to think that my parents spent their hard-earned money on this thing. Mandark's Lab is a party game within the Cartoon Network series Dexter's Laboratory. And when I say it's a party game, I'm saying that in the loosest sense of the word. It contains such little amount of content that I'm honestly surprised that I can make a long enough video to dig through this trash package. Tell me this, what do you expect out of any party game? A board game-like setup? Multiple characters to pick from? Mini-games? The ability to play with friends online? All of that sounds reasonable. You might want to look somewhere else. The only thing here are mini-games. That's it, just a small collection of mini-games to try. There is an explorative story mode that does require a playthrough to unlock all the mini-games, with the added bonus of a story mode that plays out like an exclusive unaired episode of Dexter's Laboratory, but other than that, there isn't anything else here besides the lingering feeling of regret from a group of developers that said yes to making this borderline criminal game. You don't get to choose characters, you don't get a board game, you don't even get a decent amount of mini-games to play with. You get whatever the devs want you to have, and you have to sit there and like it. Like a kid being forced to eat broccoli, you don't want that tree crap, you want McDonald's or ice cream. In this case, I want Mario Party. Or my time back. You don't even get the option for a 4-player party mode. The game can only handle 2 players at a time. Each minigame is a 1v1 scenario with its own double pack of characters. Player 1 always being Dexter. No exceptions, Dexter's the main star. Not even a minute in and I already spotted my 13 reasons why. And believe me, it won't stop at 13. This episode's plot revolves around Mandark entering and breaking into Dexter's laboratory overnight. Mandark overrides the lab computer to block Dexter out from his own lab and sets plans to Oppenheimer the whole operation. But in a plot twist that I didn't see coming, Mandark does nothing for the rest of the game. Mandark is just chillin', causing havoc, appreciating the AC unit he never had. As Dexter, boy genius, you must slowly party rock shuffle to specific interaction prompts for a minigame to activate. You must win every minigame mission to help regain control of Dexter's lab and kick Mandark and Dexter's annoying sister, Dee Dee, out for good. For a game containing its own unique episode that I can keep all to myself, I was better off exposing myself to lead paint. Nothing interesting happens. I didn't care about anything occurring on screen. Reasoning for the minigames were shoehorned in, and it didn't make any bit of sense to the ever-growing situation. The exploration was drab and painfully slow. I mean, it was cool that in between hub areas they played actual cartoon footage from the Dexter cartoon. It's just too bad that they Frankensteined episode bits to form their own pirated episode, creating this ungodly, uninteresting lost episode with improper mouth sync.
Computer, authorized entry, Dexter, boy genius. What's the matter, Dexter?
This game is atrocious. The only thing I remember was Dexter getting turned into an old fart halfway through the game because, I don't know, get owned, Dexter. You'll never live up to Neutron's legacy. Initially, I was going to say that the game's world didn't look too far off from its source material. I then analyzed the player models frame by frame with my editing software, and I realized how wrong I was. Mandark looks like an overgrown kiwi bird, and one of the bullies looks like a deformed mullet-wearing George Jetson. And these minigames, whoo, Christ almighty. You would think that a game that does nothing but house minigames would be fun, or at the very least have a large variety to pick from to give you your money's worth. Peek this. For a party game that will supposedly keep you and your friends entertained for hours on end, the game grants you a grand spanking total of 8 whole minigames. I am not skipping out on any gameplay here. Could you imagine paying full retail price when this came out just to find out the entirety of the game is 8 crappy minigames that last roughly 5 to 10 minutes to play? I beat the game within an hour and 15 minutes. No matter the price, that is such a spit in your face. If that wasn't bad enough, these minigames also copy one another constantly. There are 2 Dance Dance Revolution rhythm games, 2 slowest moving on rail first-person shooters, 2 racing derbies, and 2 hovercraft games. Okay, 2 of them are different to be fair, one being a hockey match and the other being a free roam shooter, but for consistency's sake, and that they both have you operating an oversteering hovercraft, means that half of its own content is carbon copied with minor adjustments to make them seem different. Without copying and pasting, that would leave you with 4, arguably 5, distinct minigames to play with. They aren't fun, they go on for an annoyingly long time with multiple timed rounds built in. Visually, it made me dizzy with how unsmooth the animations are. Even the completion process for this smelly garbage is the most un-user-friendly for anyone to figure out. How do I unlock any of the concept art? I know that the story mode hides secret blueprints to piece together. I know that each minigame has to be beaten on every difficulty. There are still some pieces missing somehow. Is there anything else I need to do? No matter how many times I've played through this, I can never discover all of its secrets. Mandark's lab refuses to tell me anything besides go f*** yourself. This came out in 2002. No fan wanted it, and no one cared for it. I was that kid who got suckered into it. I never thought games couldn't give a shit back then, but by playing Mandark's lab, it just proved that any game can give zero fucks. The final verdict for Dexter's Cash Lab: it's a scam.